Hello everyone, and today we are going to start the last lesson of the unit 2, that is the unit 2 is structural organization in plants and animals, and the last lesson's name, that is chapter 7, name is structural organization in animals. So let's get started. In the preceding chapters you came across a large variety of organisms, both unicellular and multicellular, of the animal kingdom. In unicellular organisms, all functions like digestion, respiration, and reproduction are performed by a single cell. In the complex body of multicellular organisms, that is animals, the same basic functions are carried out by different groups of cells in a well-organized manner. The body of the simple organism like Hydra is made of different types of cells, and number of cells in each type can be in thousands. The human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. How do these cells in the body work together? In multicellular animals, a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances perform a specific function. Such an organization is called tissue. You may be surprised to know that all complex animals consist of only 4 basic types of tissues. These tissues are organized in specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lung, heart, and kidney. When 2 or more organs perform a common function by their physical or chemical interaction, they together form organ system. Example: digestive system, respiratory system, etc. Cells, tissues, organs, and organ system split up the work in a way that exhibits division of labor and contribute to the survival of the body as a whole. Animal tissues. The structure of the cells vary according to their function. Therefore, the tissues are different and are broadly classified into 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular, and neural. First type is epithelial tissue. We commonly refer to an epithelial tissue as epithelium, plural epithelia. This tissue has a free surface which faces either a body fluid or the outside environment and thus provides a covering or a lining for some part of the body. The cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix. There are 2 types of epithelial tissues, namely simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is composed of a single layer of cells and functions as a lining or body cavity. And functions as a lining for body cavities, ducts, and tubes. The compound epithelium consists of 2 or more cell layers and has protective function it does in our skin. On the basis of structural modification of the cells, simple epithelium is further divided into 3 types. These are squamous epithelium, squamous simple epithelium, cuboidal simple epithelium, and columnar simple epithelium. The squamous simple epithelium is made of a single thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. They are found in the walls of blood vessels and air sacs of lungs and are involved in functions like forming a diffusion boundary. The cuboidal epithelium is composed of a single layer of cube-like cells. This is commonly found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephrons in kidneys, and its main functions are secretion and absorption. The epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT, of nephron in the kidney has microvilli. The columnar epithelium is composed of a single layer of tall and slender cells. Their nuclei are located at the base. Free surface may have microvilli. They are found in the lining of stomach and intestine and help in secretion and absorption. If the columnar or cuboidal cells bear cilia on their free surface, they are called ciliated epithelium. Their function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. They are mainly present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tubes. Some of the columnar or cuboidal cells get specialized for secretion and are called glandular epithelium. They are mainly of 2 types: unicellular, consisting of isolated glandular cells, that is goblet cells of the alimentary canal, example the litany, and multicellular, consisting of cluster of cells, example salivary gland. On the basis of the mode of pouring of their secretions, glands are divided into 2 categories, namely exocrine and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, airwax, oil milk, digestive enzymes, and other cell products. These products are released through ducts or tubes. In contrast, endocrine glands do not have ducts. Their products called hormones are secreted directly into the fluid bathing the gland or bathing the gland. Compound epithelium. Compound epithelium is made of more than one layer, that is, it is multi-layered of cells and thus has a limited role in secretion and absorption. Their main function is to provide protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. They cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of the buccal cavity, buccal cavity mouth cavity, pharynx, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands and of pancreatic ducts. All cells in epithelium are held together with little intercellular material. In nearly all animal tissues, specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between its individual cells. Three types of cell junctions are found in the epithelium and other tissues. These are called as tight, adhering and gap junctions. Tight junctions help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue. Adhering junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules and sometimes big molecules. So let us go to the connective tissue. The second type of the tissues. Connective tissues are most abundant and widely distributed in the body of complex animals. They are named connective tissues because of their special function of linking and supporting other tissues or organs of the body. They range from soft connective tissues to specialized types, which includes cartilage, bone, adipose and blood. In all connective tissues except blood, the cells secrete fibers of structural proteins called collagen or elastin. The fibers provide strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissue. These cells also secrete modified polysaccharides which accumulate between cells and fibers and act as a matrix, which is also called as a ground substance. Connective tissues are classified into three types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. Loose connective tissue has cells and fibers loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground substance. For example, areolar tissue present beneath the skin. Often it serves as a support framework for epithelia. It contains fibroblasts, that is the cells that produce and secretes fibers, macrophages and mast cells. Adipose tissue is another type of loose connective tissue located mainly beneath the skin. The cells of this tissue are specialized to store fats. The excess of nutrients which are not used immediately are converted into fats and are stored in this tissue. Fibers and fibroblasts are compactly packed in the dense connective tissues. Orientation of fibers show a regular or irregular pattern and are called dense regular and dense irregular tissues. In the dense regular connective tissues, the collagen fibers are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. Tendons which attach skeletal muscles to bones and ligaments which attach one bone to another are examples of this tissue. Dense irregular connective tissue has fibroblasts and many fibers, that is mostly collagen, that are oriented differently. This tissue is present in the skin. Cartilage. Cartilage, okay, so wait 2 minutes. Okay, cartilage, bone and blood are various types of specialized connective tissues. The intercellular material of cartilage is solid and pliable and resists compression. Cells of this tissue, that is chondrocytes, are enclosed in small cavities within the matrix secreted by them. Most of the cartilaginous invertebrate embryos are replaced by bones in adults. Cartilage is present in the tip of the nose, outer ear joints, between adjacent bones of the vertebral column, limbs and hands in adults. Bones have a hard and non-pliable ground substance rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers, which have which give bone its strength. It is the main tissue that provides structural frame to the body. Bones support and protect softer tissues and organs. The bone cells, which are called as osteocytes, are present in the spaces called lacunae. Limb bones, such as the long bones of the legs, serve weight-bearing functions. They also interact with skeletal muscles attached to them to bring about movements. The bone marrow in some bones is the site of production of blood cells. Blood is a fluid connective tissue containing plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. It is the main circulating fluid that helps in the transport of various substances. You will learn more about blood in chapters 17 and 18. So let us learn about the muscle tissue. Each muscle is made of many long cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel arrays. These fibers are composed of numerous fine fibrils called myofibrils. Muscle fibers contract, that is shorten, in response to stimulation, then relax, that is lengthen, and return to their uncontracted state in the coordinated fashion. Their action moves the body to adjust to the changes in the environment and to maintain the positions of the various parts of the body. In general, muscles play an active role in all the movements of the body. Muscles are of three types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Skeletal muscle tissue is closely attached to the skeletal bones. In a typical muscle such as biceps, striated, that is stripped skeletal muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. A sheath of tough connective tissue encloses several bundles of muscle fibers. You will learn more about this in chapter 20. So the smooth muscle fibers taper at both ends, that is fusiform, and do not show striations. Cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. The wall of internal organs such as blood vessels, stomach, and intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. Smooth muscles are involuntary as their functioning cannot be directly controlled. We usually are not able to make it contract merely by thinking about it as we can do with skeletal muscles. Cardiac muscle tissue is a contractile tissue present only in the heart. Cell junctions fuse the plasma membranes of cardiac muscle cells and make them stick together. Communication junctions, that is intercalated discs at some fusion points, allow the cells to contract as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbors are also stimulated to contract. Then the fourth type is neural tissue. So the neural tissue exerts the greatest control over the body, is responsive to changing conditions. Neurons, the unit of neural system, are excitable cells. The neuroglial cell, which constitute the rest of the neural system, protect and support neurons. Neuroglia make up more than 1/2 the volume of neural tissue in our body. When a neuron is suitably stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated which swiftly travels along its plasma membrane. Arrival of the disturbance at the neurons, I'll repeat it again, sorry. Actually, I am having sore throat, so I am not able to speak. But then also I'll try my best to record this video. So arrival of the disturbance at the neuron's endings or output zone triggers events that may cause stimulation or inhibition of adjacent neurons and other cells. Organ and organ system. The basic tissues mentioned above organize to form organs, which in turn associate to form organ systems in the multicellular organisms. Such an organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activities of millions of cells constituting an organism. Each organ in our body is made of one or more types of tissues. For example, our heart consists of all the 4 types of tissue, that is epithelial, connective, muscular, and neural. We also notice after some careful study that the complexity in organ and organ systems displays certain discernible trend. This discernible trend is called evolutionary trend. You are being introduced to morphology and anatomy of 3 organisms at different evolutionary levels to show their organization and functioning. Morphology refers to study of form or externally visible features. In the case of plants or microbes, the term morphology precisely means only this. In case of animals, this refers to the external appearance of the organs or parts of the body. The word anatomy conventionally is used for the study of morphology of internal organs in the animals. You will learn the morphology and anatomy of earthworm, cockroach, and frog representing invertebrates and vertebrates. So earthworm. Earthworm is a reddish brown terrestrial invertebrate that inhabits the upper layer of the moist soil. During daytime, they live in burrows made by boring and swallowing the soil. In the gardens, they can be traced by their fecal deposits known as worm castings. Worm castings. Okay. The common Indian earthworms are Ferretima and Lumbricus. We had studied one of the but one of the type of the earthworm, Ascaris lumbricoides, which causes I'm not remembering the disease, but it was Ascaris lumbricoides, the name of the worm, which is causing intestinal diseases. Morphology. Earthworms have long cylindrical body. The body is divided into more than 100 short segments which are similar. Metameres about 100 to 120 in number. The dorsal surface of the body is marked by a dark median and mid-dorsal line, that is dorsal blood vessel, along the longitudinal axis of the body. The ventral surface is distinguished by the presence of genital openings or pores, and the anterior end consists of the mouth and the prostomium, a lobe which serves as a covering for the mouth and as a wedge to force open cracks in the soil into which the earthworm may crawl. The prostomium is sensory in function. The first body segment is called peristomium, that is buccal segment, which contains the mouth. In a mature worm, segments segments 14 to 16 are covered by a prominent dark band of glandular tissue called clitellum. Thus the body is divisible into three prominent regions: precliteral, clitellar and postcliteral. I'll repeat it again. Precliteral, clitellar and postcliteral. Precliteral, clitellar and postcliteral. Precliteral, clitellar, postcliteral segments. 4 pairs of spermatical apertures are situated on the ventrolateral sides of the intersegmental grooves, that is 5th to 9th segments. A single female genital pore is present in the mid-ventral line of the 14th segment. A pair of male genital pores are present on the ventrolateral sides of the 18th segment. Numerous minute pores called nephridiopores open on the surface of the body. In each body segment except the first, last and clitellum, there are rows of S-shaped setae embedded in the epidermal pits in the middle of each segment. Setae can be extended or retracted. Their principal role is in locomotion. So let us learn about the anatomy of the earthworm. The body wall of the earthworm is covered externally by a thin non-cellular cuticle below which is the epidermis, 2 muscle layers, circular and longitudinal, and an innermost coelopic epithelium. The epidermis is made up of single layer of columnar epithelial cells which contain secretory gland cells. The alimentary canal is a straight tube and runs between first to last segment of the body. A terminal mouth opens into the buccal cavity, that is 1 to 3 segments, which leads into muscular pharynx. A smaller narrow tube, esophagus, that is 5 to 7 segments, continues into a muscular gizzard, 8 to 9 segments. It helps in grinding the soil particles and decaying leaves, etc. The stomach extends from 9 to 14 segments. The food of the earthworm is decaying leaves and organic matter mixed with soil. Calciferous glands present in the stomach neutralize the humic acid present in humus. Intestine starts from the 15th segment onwards and continues till the last segment. A pair of short and conical intestinal cecae project from the intestine on the 26th segment. The characteristic feature of intestine after 26th segment, except the last 23rd to 25th segments, is the presence of internal median fold of dorsal wall called typhlosole. This increases the effective area of absorption in the intestine. The alimentary canal opens to the exterior by a small rounded aperture called anus. The ingested organic rich soil passes through the digestive tract where digestive enzymes break down complex food into smaller absorbable units. These simpler molecules are absorbed through intestinal membranes and are utilized. Pheretima exhibits a closed type of blood vascular system consisting of blood vessels, capillaries and heart. Due to closed circulatory system, blood is confined to the heart and blood vessels. Contractions keep blood circulating in one direction. Smaller blood vessels supply the gut, nerve cord and the body wall. Blood glands are present on the 4th, 5th and 6th segments. They produce blood cells and hemoglobin, which is dissolved in blood plasma. Blood cells are phagocytic in nature. Earthworms lack specialized breathing devices. Respiratory exchange occurs through moist body surface into their bloodstream. The excretory organs occur as segmentally arranged coiled tubules called nephridia, that is nephridium. They are of three types. Septal nephridia, which is present on the both sides of intersegmental septa of segment 15 to the last that open into intestine. Second is integumentary nephridia, which is attached to lining of the body wall of segment 3 to last that open on the body surface. And third type is pharyngeal nephridia, which is present as three paired tufts in the 4th, 5th and 6th segments. These different types of nephridia are basically similar in structure. Nephridia regulate the volume and composition of the body fluids. A nephridium starts out as a funnel that collects excess fluid from coelomic chamber. The funnel connects with the tubular part of the nephridium, which delivers the wastes through a pore to the surface in the body wall into the digestive tube. Nervous system is basically represented by ganglia arranged segment-wise on the ventral paired nerve cord. The nerve cord in the anterior region, that is 3rd and 4th segments, bifurcates laterally encircling the pharynx and joins the cerebral ganglia dorsally to form a nerve ring. The cerebral, I'll repeat it again. The cerebral ganglia along with other nerves in the ring integrate sensory input as well as command muscular responses of the body. Sensory system does not have eyes but does possess light and touch sensitive organs, which are called as receptor cells, to distinguish the light intensities and to feel the vibrations in the ground. Worms have specialized chemoreceptors, that is taste receptors, which react to chemical stimuli. These sense organs are located on the anterior part of the worm. Earthworm is hermaphrodite, that is, it is bisexual, that is, testes and ovaries are present in the same individual. There are two pairs of testes present in 10th and 11th segments. Their vasa deferentia run up to the 18th segment where they join the prostatic duct. Two pairs of accessory glands are present, one pair each in the 17th and 19th segments. The common prostate and spermatic duct, that is vasa deferentia, opens to the exterior by a pair of male genital pores on the ventrolateral side of the 18th segment. Four pairs of spermathecae are located in 6th to 9th segments, one pair in each segment. They receive and store spermatozoa during copulation. One pair of ovaries is attached at the intersegmental septum of the 12th and 13th segments. Ovarian funnels are present beneath the ovaries, which continue into oviduct, joined together and open on the ventral side as a single median female genital pore on the 14th segment. A mutual exchange of sperm occurs between two worms during mating. One worm has to find another worm and they mate, juxtaposing opposite gonadal openings, exchanging packets of sperms called spermatophores. Mature sperm and egg cells and nutritive fluid are deposited in cocoons produced by the gland cells of clitellum. Fertilization and development occur within the cocoons, which are deposited in soil. The ova, which are eggs, are fertilized by the sperm cells within the cocoon, which then slips off the worm and is deposited in or on the soil. The cocoon holds the worm embryos. After about 3 weeks, each cocoon produces 2 to 20 baby worms with an average of 4. Development of earthworms is direct, that is, there is no larva formed. Earthworms are known as friends of farmers because they make burrows in the soil and make it porous, which helps in respiration and penetration of the developing plant roots. The process of increasing fertility of soil by the earthworms is called vermicomposting. They are also used as bait in game fishing. Then is cockroach. Cockroaches are brown or black-bodied animals that are included in class Insecta of phylum Arthropoda. Bright yellow, red and green colored cockroaches have also been reported in tropical regions. Their size ranges from 1 by 4 inches to 3 inches, that is 0.6 to 7.6 centimeter, and have long antenna, legs and flat extension of the upper body wall that conceals head. They are nocturnal omnivores that live in damp places throughout the world. They have become residents of human homes and thus are serious pests and vectors of several diseases. Morphology of the cockroaches. The adults of the common species of cockroach, that is Periplaneta americana, are about 34 to 53 mm long with wings that extend beyond the tip of the abdomen in males. The body of the cockroach is segmented and divisible into three distinct regions: head, thorax and abdomen. The entire body is covered by a hard chitinous exoskeleton, that is chitinous exoskeleton, which is brown in color. In each segment, exoskeleton has hardened plates called sclerites, that is they are tergites dorsally and sternites ventrally, that are joined to each other by a thin and flexible articular membrane, that is arthrodial membrane. Head is triangular in shape and lies anteriorly at right angles to the longitudinal body axis. It is formed by the fusion of 6 segments and shows great mobility in all directions due to flexible neck. The head capsule bears a pair of compound eyes. A pair of thread-like antennae arises from membranous sockets lying in front of eyes. Antennae have sensory receptors that help in monitoring the environment. Anterior end of the head bears appendages forming biting and chewing type of mouth parts. The mouth parts consisting of a labyrinth upper lip, a pair of mandibles, a pair of maxillae and labium, that is lower lip, a median flexible lobe acting as tongue, which is also called as hypopharynx, lies within the cavity enclosed by the mouth parts. Thorax consists of 3 parts: prothorax, mesothorax, metathorax. The head is connected with thorax by a short extension on the prothorax known as the neck. Each thoracic segment bears a pair of walking legs. The first pair of wings arises from mesothorax and second pair from metathorax. 4 wings, that is mesothoracic, called tegmina, are opaque, dark and leathery and cover the hind wings when at rest. The hind wings are transparent membranous and are used in flight. The abdomen in both males and females consists of 10 segments in females. The 7th sternum is boat-shaped and together with 8th and 9th sterna forms a I'll repeat it again. The 7th sternum is boat-shaped and together with the 8th and 9th sterna forms a brood or genital pouch whose anterior part consists female gonopore, spermatical pores and collateral glands. In males, genital pouch or chamber lies at the hind end of abdomen, bounded dorsally by 9th and 10th terga and ventrally by 9th sternum. It contains dorsal anus, ventral male genital pore and gonopophysis. I'll repeat it again. It contains dorsal anus, ventral male genital pore and gonopophysis. Males bear a pair of short thread-like anal styles which are absent in females. In both sexes, the 10th segment bears a pair of jointed filamentous structures called anal cerci. Okay, so let us see about the anatomy of the insects. The alimentary canal present in the body cavity is divided into 3 regions: foregut, midgut and hindgut. I'll repeat it again. The alimentary canal present in the body cavity is divided into 3 regions: foregut, midgut and hindgut. The mouth opens into a short tubular pharynx leading to a narrow tubular passage called esophagus. This in turn opens into a sac-like structure called crop used for storing of food. The crop is followed by gizzard or proventriculus. It has an outer layer of thick circular muscles and thick inner cuticle forming 6 highly chitinous plates called teeth. Gizzard helps in grinding the food particles. The entire foregut is lined by cuticle. A ring of 6 to 8 blind tubules called hepatic or gastric ceca is present at the junction of foregut and midgut, which secrete digestive juice. At the junction of midgut and hindgut is present another ring of 100 to 150 yellow colored thin filamentous Malpighian tubules. They help in removal of excretory products from hemolymph. The hindgut is broader than midgut and is differentiated into ileum, colon and rectum. The rectum opens out through anus. Blood vascular system of cockroach is an open type. Blood vessels are poorly developed and open into space. They are called as hemocoel. Visceral organs located in the hemocoel are bathed in blood, which is called as hemolymph. The hemolymph is composed of colorless plasma and hemocytes. Heart of cockroach consists of elongated muscular tube lying along mid-dorsal line of thorax and abdomen. It is differentiated into funnel-shaped chambers with ostia on either side. Blood from sinuses enter heart through ostia and is pumped anteriorly to sinuses again. The respiratory system consists of a network of trachea that open through 10 pairs of small holes called spiracles present on lateral side of the body. Thin branching tubes, that is tracheal tubes subdivided into tracheoles, carry oxygen from the air to all parts. The opening of spiracles is regulated by sphincters. Exchange of gases take place at tracheoles by diffusion. Excretion is performed by Malpighian tubules. Each tubule is lined by glandular and ciliated cells. They absorb nitrogenous waste products and convert them into uric acid, which is excreted out through the hindgut. Okay. Therefore, this insect is called uricotelic. In addition, the fat body nephrocytes and uricose glands also help in excretion. The nervous system of cockroach consists of series of fused, segmentally arranged ganglia joined by paired longitudinal connectives on the ventral side. 3 ganglia lie in the thorax and 6 in abdomen. The nervous system of cockroach is spread throughout the body. The head holds a bit of nervous system while the rest is situated along the ventrally belly side part of its body. So now you understand that if a head of cockroach is cut off, it will still live for as long as 1 week. In the head region, the brain is represented by supraesophageal ganglion, which supplies nerves to antenna and compound eyes. In cockroach, the sense organs are antenna, eyes, maxillary palps, labial palps, anal cerci, etc. The compound eyes are situated at the dorsal surface of the head. Each eye consists of about 2000 hexagonal omatidia, singular omatidium. With the help of several omatidia, a cockroach can receive several images of an object. This kind of vision is known as mosaic vision, with more sensitivity but less resolution. Being common during night, hence called nocturnal vision, cockroaches are dioecious and both sexes have well-developed reproductive organs. Male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, one lying on each lateral side in 4th to 6th abdominal segments. From each testis arises a thin vas deferens which opens into ejaculatory duct through seminal vesicle. The ejaculatory duct opens into male gonopore situated ventral to anus. A characteristic mushroom-shaped gland is present in the 6th to 7th abdominal segments, which functions as an accessory reproductive gland. The external genitalia are represented by male gonapophysis or phallomere, chitinous asymmetrical structure surrounding the male gonopore. The sperms are stored in the seminal vesicles and are glued together in the form of bundles called spermatophores, which are discharged during copulation. The female reproductive system consists of 2 large ovaries lying laterally in the 2nd and 6th abdominal segments. Each ovary is formed of a group of 8 ovarian tubules or ovarioles containing a chain of developing ova. Oviducts of each ovary unite into a single median oviduct, also called vagina, which opens into the genital chamber. A pair of spermatheca is present in the 6th segment, which opens into the genital chamber. Sperms Sperms are transferred through spermatophores. Their fertilized eggs are encased in capsules called ootheca. I'll repeat it again. Their fertilized eggs are encased in capsules called oothecae. Ootheca is a dark reddish to blackish brown capsule about 3 by 8 8 millimeter long. They are dropped or glued to a suitable surface, usually in a crack or crevice of high relative humidity near a food source. On an average, females produce 9 to 10 ootheca. Sorry. Females produce 9 to 10 oothecae, each containing 14 to 16 eggs. The development of P. americana is porometabolous. I'll repeat it again. The development of P. americana is porometabolous, meaning there is development through nymphal stage. The nymphs look very much like adults. The nymph grows by molting about 13 times to reach the adult form. The next to last nymphal stage has wing pads, but only adult cockroaches have wings. Many species of cockroaches are wild and are of no known economic importance yet. A few species thrive in and around human habitat. They are pests because they spoil food and contaminate it with their smelly excreta. They can transmit a variety of bacterial diseases by contaminating food material. Let us learn about the frogs. Frogs can live both on land and in fresh water and belong to class Amphibia of phylum Chordata. The most common species of frog found in India is Rana tigrina. They do not have constant body temperature, that is, their body temperature varies with temperature of the environment. Such animals are called cold-blooded or poikilotherms. I'll repeat it again. Animals like frog are called cold-blooded or poikilotherms. You might have also noticed changes in the color of frogs while they are in the grasses and on dry land. They have the ability to change the color to hide them from their enemies, that is camouflage. This protective coloration is called mimicry. You may also know that frogs are not seen during peak summer and winter. During this period, they take shelter in deep burrows to protect them from extreme heat and cold. This is known as summer sleep, that is called as aestivation, and winter sleep, that is called as hibernation, respectively. Let us learn about the morphology of the frogs. Have you ever touched the skin of frog? The skin is smooth and slippery due to the presence of mucus. The skin is always maintained in a moist condition. The color of dorsal side of body is generally olive green with dark irregular spots. On the ventral side, the skin is uniformly pale yellow. The frog never drinks water but absorbs it through the skin. Body of a frog is divisible into head and trunk. A neck and tail are absent. Above the mouth, a pair of nostrils is present. Eyes are bulged and covered by a nictitating membrane that protects them while in water. On either side of eyes, the membranous tympanum. On either side of eyes, a membranous tympanum ear receives sound signals. The forelimbs and hind limbs help in swimming, walking, leaping, and burrowing. The hind limbs end in 5 digits and they are larger and muscular than forelimbs that end in 4 digits. Feet have webbed digits that help in swimming. Frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Male frogs can be distinguished by the presence of sound-producing vocal sacs and also a copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimbs, which are absent in female frogs. Let us learn the anatomy of the frog. The body cavity of frogs accommodate different organ systems such as digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nervous, excretory, and reproductive systems with well-developed structures and functions. The digestive system consists of alimentary canal and digestive glands. The alimentary canal is short because frogs are carnivores and hence the length of intestine is reduced. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity that leads to esophagus through pharynx. Esophagus is a short tube that opens into the stomach, which in turn continues as the intestine, rectum, and finally opens outside by the cloaca. Liver secretes bile that is stored in the gallbladder. Pancreas, a digestive gland, produces pancreatic juice containing digestive enzymes. Food is captured by the bilobed tongue. Digestion of food takes place by the action of HCl and gastric juices secreted from the walls of the stomach. Partially digested food called chyme is passed from stomach to the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum. The duodenum receives bile from gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas through a common bile duct. Bile emulsifies fat and pancreatic juices digest carbohydrates and proteins. Final digestion takes place in intestine. Digested food is absorbed by the numerous finger-like folds in the inner wall of intestine called villi and microvilli. The undigested solid waste moves into the rectum and passes out through cloaca. Frogs respire on land and in water by two different methods. In water, skin acts as aquatic respiratory organ, that is cutaneous respiration. Dissolved oxygen in the water is exchanged through skin by diffusion. On land, the buccal cavity, skin and lungs act as the respiratory organs. The respiration by lungs is called pulmonary respiration. The lungs are a pair of elongated pink-colored sac-like structures present in the upper part of the trunk region, that is thorax. Air enters through the nostrils into buccal cavity and then to lungs. During aestivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange takes place through skin. The vascular system of frog is well developed, closed type. Frogs have a lymphatic system also. The blood vascular system involves heart, blood vessels and blood. The lymphatic system consists of lymph channels and lymph nodes. Heart is a muscular structure situated in the upper part of the body cavity. It has 3 chambers, 2 atria and 1 ventricle and is covered by a membrane called pericardium. A triangular structure called sinus venosus joins the right atrium. It receives blood through the major veins called vena cava. The ventricle opens into a sac-like conus arteriosus. No, I'll repeat it again. The ventricle opens into a sac-like conus arteriosus on the ventral side of the heart. The blood from the heart is carried to all parts of the body by the arteries, that is arterial system. The veins collect blood from different parts of body to heart and form the venous system. Special venous connection between liver and intestine as well as the kidney and lower parts of the body are present in frogs. The former is called hepatic portal system and the later is called renal portal system. The blood is composed of plasma and cells. The blood cells are RBC, that is red blood cells, or erythrocytes, WBC, white blood cells or leukocytes, and platelets. RBCs are nucleated and contain red colored pigment, namely hemoglobin. The lymph is different from blood. It lacks few proteins and RBCs. The blood carries nutrients, gases and water to the respective sites during the circulation. The circulation of blood is achieved by the pumping action of the muscular heart. Elimination of nitrogenous wastes is carried out by a well-developed excretory system. The excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, ureters, cloaca and urinary bladder. These are compact, dark red and bean-like structures situated a little posteriorly in the body cavity, on both sides of vertebral column. Each kidney is composed of several structural and functional units called uriniferous tubules or nephrons. 2 ureters emerge from kidneys in the male frogs. The ureters act as urinogenital duct, which opens into the cloaca. In females, the ureters and oviduct open separately in the cloaca. The thin-walled urinary bladder is present ventral to the rectum, which also opens in cloaca. The frog excretes urea and thus is ureotelic animal. Excretory wastes are carried by blood into kidney where it is separated and excreted. The system of control and coordination is highly evolved in the frog. It includes both neural system and endocrine glands. The chemical coordination of various organs of the body is achieved by hormones which are secreted by endocrine glands. The prominent endocrine glands found in frog are pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic, islets, adrenals and gonad. The nervous system is organized into a central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, a peripheral nervous system, that is cranial and spinal nerves, and an autonomic nervous system, that is autonomic nervous system, which is categorized into sympathetic and parasympathetic. There are 10 pairs of cranial nerves arising from the brain. Brain is enclosed in a bony structure called brain box, that is cranium. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain includes olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemispheres and unpaired diencephalon. The midbrain is categorized by a pair of optic lobes. Hindbrain consists of cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata passes out through the foramen magnum and continues into spinal cord, which is enclosed in the vertebral column. Frog has different types of sense organs, namely organs of touch, that is sensory papillae, taste buds, smell, nasal epithelium, vision, eyes and hearing, tympanum with internal ears. Out of these, eyes and internal ears are well organized structures and the rest are cellular aggregations around nerve endings. Eyes in a frog are a pair of spherical structures situated in the orbit in skull. These are simple eyes possessing only one unit. External ear is absent in frogs and only tympanum can be seen externally. The ear is an organ of hearing as well as balancing, that is equilibrium. Frogs have well organized male and female reproductive systems. Male reproductive organs consist of a pair of yellowish ovoid testes which are found adhered to the upper part of kidneys by a double fold of peritoneum called mesorchium. Vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in number that arise from testes. They enter the kidneys on their side and open into Bidder's canal. Finally, it communicates with the urinogenital duct that comes out of the kidneys and opens into the cloaca. The cloaca is a small median chamber that is used to pass fecal matter, urine and sperms to the exterior. The female reproductive organs include a pair of ovaries. The ovaries are situated near kidneys and there is no functional connections with kidneys. Sorry. A pair of oviduct arising from the ovaries opens into the cloaca separately. A mature female can lay 2,500 to 3,000 ova at a time. Fertilization is external and takes place in water. Development involves a larval stage called tadpole. Tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to form the adult. Frogs are beneficial for mankind because they eat insects and protect the crop. Frogs maintain ecological balance because these serve as an important link of food chain and food web in the ecosystem. In some countries, the muscular legs of frog are used as a food by man. Now, let us see the diagrams of these lessons. Okay, so from the first page, we'll see the diagrams. Okay, so we'll clear all the concepts here. Yes, so this is the diagram of simple epithelium. Okay, these are all the types of simple epithelium. A1 is squamous simple epithelium, B is cuboidal simple epithelium, C is columnar epithelium, simple epithelium, and this is specifically columnar cells bearing cilia. You can see your hair-like structures. Okay, these are the cilia. So these are columnar cells bearing cilia. Next diagram is these are the types of glandular epithelium. This is seen in unicellular and this is multicellular. Okay, then this is the compound epithelium, which has multi-layered cells. Okay, then this is the loose connective tissue, that is areolar tissue and adipose tissue. The first diagram A1 is of the areolar tissue and this one is of the adipose tissue. Okay, this is the mast cell. These are the collagen fibers, this is the fibroblast, this is the macrophage, and this one is adipose. This is the fat storage, this is the nucleus, and this is the plasma membrane. This diagram is of the collagen fibers, you can see here. And this diagram means these are the two types of the dense connective tissue, that is dense regular and dense irregular. Means it is like arranged in a specific manner. This is not arranged, this is anyhow. Okay, so it is irregular. Okay, then this diagram shows us about the specialized connective tissues. First is the cartilage. This is the cartilage. This you can see the collagen fibers, and this is the cartilage cell called as chondrocyte. Second diagram is of the bone. You can see here, this is the bone, and third diagram is of the blood. Blood contains RBC, WBC, platelets. RBC, red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets. Okay. Then let us see the diagram of muscle tissue. These are the three types of muscle tissue. First is the skeletal, striated muscle tissue. Second is the smooth muscle tissue, and third is the cardiac muscle tissue. First has striations, you can see this, and the nucleus. Here we can see only the smooth muscle fibers and nucleus. Okay, this is nucleus, these are the smooth muscle fibers, and this is the cardiac tissue which has striations. Okay, it has nucleus and junction between adjacent cells. This is the diagram of neural tissue. Neuron with neuroglia. Neuron with neuroglia. So this is the axon of the neuron. This is the cell body or cyton of the neuron with nucleus. Here this is the nucleus, and this is the star-shaped cell body which is called a cyton. And these are the dendrites of the neuron, and this small dot-like structures are neuroglia. Then is the diagram of the body of earthworm. See, the A diagram is dorsal view, B is ventral view, ventral view, and this C diagram is lateral view, showing mouth opening. So here you can see dorsal view of the earthworm. Here you can see the clitellum and the prostomium. In this lateral view, this is the dorsal view, this is the ventral view. In this ventral view you can see setae, female genital aperture, male genital aperture, transverse grooves or annuli, genital papillae, clitellum. Okay, and the third type is lateral view. So mouth opening, peristomium and metameres and ring of setae. Okay, the next diagram is of alimentary canal of the earthworm. Here you can see this is the triflosole. This is the intestinal pneumain. This is typhlosolar part of intestine. Typhlosolar part of intestine. This is the lymph gland. This is the intestinal cecum. This is typhlosolar part of intestine. This is pre-typhlosolar part of intestine. This is the stomach. This is gizzard. This is esophagus. This is pharynx, and this is the mouth. Okay. Now here you can see the closed circulatory system of the earthworm. So here you can see the dorsal vessel. Okay, lateral hearts, lateral esophageal hearts. Okay, commissural vessel, subneural vessel, anterior loops, ventral vessel, and lateral esophageal vessel. Then the nephridial system of earthworm. So here you can see the buccal cavity, that is mouth, ducts of pharyngeal nephridia, tufts of pharyngeal nephridia, integumentary nephridia, forests of integumentary nephridia, septal nephridia, blood glands, pharynx, and buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is already discussed. Then this diagram is of the reproductive system of earthworm. Here you can see the prostate gland, common prostatic and spermatic duct, accessory glands, vasa deferentia, oviduct, ovarian funnel, ovary, seminal vesicles, spermiducal funnels, testis sac with testis, and spermatocyte. Then you can see the diagram of the external features of cockroach. So this is filiform antenna, this is compound eye, pronotum, mesothorax, prothoracic leg, metathorax, mesothoracic leg, metathoracic leg, anal cerci, abdomen, hind wing, tegmina, and head. Then this is the diagram of head region of the cockroach. Okay, so these are all the head regions. So first is the parts of head region: labium, maxilla, compound eye, ocellus or oculus, mandible, labyrinth, and the B is the mouth parts. So this is the mandible, this is the grinding region, incising region. Then this is the labyrinth, this is hypopharynx, this is mandible, this is maxilla, this is labium, this is maxilla. Okay, so there are two maxilla. Okay, then anatomy. So in this, here we can see the alimentary canal of cockroach. So pharynx, salivary gland, salivary reservoir, esophagus, crop, gizzard, hepatic ceca, mesenteron or midgut, malphizian tubules, ileum, colon. Okay, here you can see the open circulatory system of cockroach. So anterior aorta, alary muscles and chambers